In this video, we're going to continue working on our homepage. What's up, guys? We've got one more section on our homepage that we need to develop before we can move along and build our footer for the entire site. So let's go ahead and jump into things. Today, we're going to be building this recent project section right here. It's not too complicated. It's pretty simple. So let's see if we can actually get it done in under 30 minutes. So first, let's come over here and grab our project folder and open it up in Atom. And while that's going, let's open up our terminal as well. All right, so we got the project open here. And terminal. So let's cd into our desktop and then into our folder. And then we're going to run bundle exec jekyll serve with the flag watch and with the flag base URL and set it to nothing with 2 quotation marks. Run that. Let's make sure it works. All right, there it is. So we're gonna go to that address. And here's our website as it is so far. So let's go ahead and let's get started with this. In our index file, let's see, we're gonna need an HR. And let's go ahead and add a comment here for recent projects, just so we know where we're at. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add this title right there. So let's come here and we're going to say, we're going to make it an H2 with a class of recent projects. Close it. And we're just going to go ahead and write recent projects in here. Okay. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to wrap all of these in their own wrapper. So it's going to be one large container here holding all of these. That way we can center it and size it accordingly. So let's go ahead and make a div, and we're going to give it a class of recent projects content wrapper. And we can go ahead and close off that div. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build 4 of these. So it's going to be, you're going to have a container and we're going to have an image and we're also going to have text. The text is going to link to wherever I want this project to go to. So since there's going to be 4 of them, let's go ahead and make life easier for us and do 4 of them at one time here. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a div. And we're going to give it a class of project wrap. Okay. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to close each one of these off. Now what we're going to do is we're going to make another div in here. And we're going to give this a class of just project. And then we're going to come over here and we're going to close this div off. So now, inside of our project div, we are going to go ahead and we're going to add our image. Okay, but just to keep things easy, we are going to go ahead and add it as a div. So we're going to say div class, and we're going to give it a class of project img, and then we're also going to, no, actually that's all we're going to give it for the class. And then we'll close this off here in the same line. Okay, and then just beneath that, we're going to go ahead and we are going to add an A tag. And just, it's not going to go to anywhere right now until we add the projects in just a little bit. So, but I do know I'm going to want them to be target blank so that we can add in. And let's go ahead and give it a class of project text. And close off the A tag. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add an H4. And we're also going to add a paragraph tag. All right. So in the H4, we're just going to say, just for now, project title. And we're going to say just some lorem ipsum in there. Save it. And let's come to the web page and see what it looks like so far. So that's pretty much everything we're going to go ahead and add right now. Now what we have to do though is we need to work on our Sass for this. So let's come over to the project, and we're going to do this in our layouts index.sass right here. And let's add a comment and call it recent projects. So the first thing we're going to do is center our H2 right here. So we're going to select our H2 with the class of recent projects. And we're going to say text align center, and we're going to give it a padding top of 100 pixels. So it should push it away from our horizontal rule and center it right there. Okay. So now what we're going to do is we need to select this entire container here, and we're going to start styling that. So we named our container, let's find it. We named the container recent projects container, or content wrapper, I should say. So let's come down here and we're going to select this. And we're going to give it a margin auto so it's centered. And let's let the max width of this be 800 pixels. Refresh this and you'll see it's already centered it here, and it won't be any wider than this at any point. So now what we're going to do here is we're also going to add some padding. So when the browser does shrink like this, it's not all the way up against the edge. So let's give it a padding of 60 pixels and 20 pixels. And 0 pixels and another 20 pixels. Now what we're going to do is we're going to display this flex, and we are going to set the flex direction to column. And then we are also going to align items center. And you can come over here and see what that looks like right now. Not much different, but we're going to fix that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select our project wrap div, which it encases each individual project. So each one of these are encased in a project wrap div. So we're going to go ahead and grab that in our Sass, and we are going to tell that to be a width of 100% because each one of these, it's technically going to be taking up this entire line here. And then inside of those, we're going to be floating them to certain sides. So we have our width of 100%. And we are also going to display these flex. And let's give it a justify content of flex start. And that should be good for here. So it looks exactly the same still. That'll change in just a second here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to grab our, what do we call it? Our project. Okay, so we're going to grab project, which is inside of our project wrap. And we are going to give that a max width of 465 pixels. And we're going to set the minimum height of that to be 100 pixels. And let's give it some margin of 20 pixels top and bottom and 0 left and right. And then we're going to take this project and yet again we are going to give it a display of flex. We are going to set the flex direction on this to row, and then we are going to set justify content to space around. Now let's take a look at this, and this should look a little different. There we go, just a little different. All right, so inside of our project, we are going to grab the image that we set, which is project image. So we're going to grab that. We're going to set the background to our primary variable. We're going to set the height to 100 pixels, the width to 100 pixels, and we're going to set the flex to be 0, 0, and 100 pixels. We're going to give it a small border radius of 3 pixels. And I want the cursor to be pointer on that. And I'm not going to go over it in this video, but towards the end of the series, we're going to be adding in a JavaScript Lightbox file that I'm working on that you guys will be able to download and use yourself. But we'll do that later on. So go ahead and save that, and now we should see a little square right there. There's our square. Now you can see it's kind of getting to this. I know this doesn't have rounded edges, but I made that decision after I lost my design file, so that's kind of caked into that design. Anyways, we are going to grab our project text next. So let's go and grab project text, and let's give that a minimum height of 83 pixels. Set the height of 100% and set the width of 100%. And we're going to give it a margin left of 15 pixels. And then here we go again. Display flex. Set the flex direction to column. Set the justify content to space around. and we're going to give it just a little bit of padding. It's going to be 5 pixels on the top and bottom and 0 on the left and right. Save it, look at it. Okay, so now it's not sitting right up against this edge. That is good, that is what we want. So inside of here, we are going to, let's grab, what was it, an H4, I think? Yeah, an H4. So we're going to select the H4. And we are going to set our H4's font size to 1.375 M. Font weight to 500. Color to primary. And we are also going to give it an opacity of 0.85. Okay, so that looks good. Now that I think about it though, we don't really use H4s too much in this part of the site, so I kind of want to go ahead and just put it over here for like a global style for H4s. That way it's wherever we put this, put an H4 on the site, it's going to look similar unless we need it to look like something else. So I'm just going to put that in our base styles.sass. Save it, and when you refresh this, this should look exactly the same. Looks the same. All right. So now over here, we are going to go ahead, and this time we're going to grab our paragraph. And here we are going to set the line height to this really weird number of 1.1875 M. Give this a look here. That's much better. This is how it was before, and we don't need this to be like slightly more than double spaced. So we're reducing that a bit. And this is only about definitely not as many words as we've got here. So let's go ahead and delete some of these words for now. Let's cut it off here. See if that looks any better. It's looking a little better. I think we can eliminate just a few more. And then when we write these, we're just going to keep it within those limits. So let's cut it off right here. Take a look at it. That's better. All right. So now we are going to do something a little different. We're going to come back to our index.html. And so as you saw before, each one of these projects are alternating. So left, right, left, right. So what we're going to do is on every second one, we are going to add a class onto the project div. So this is our first one. So we're going to grab this project, and then we're going to skip the third one and grab the fourth project as well. And we're going to add another class of project reverse. So now down in our Sass, what we're going to do is we're going to grab that we're going to grab that class, and it's going to need to be in line with I think with this one. look at this again. Right, so there's two things we're going to be reversing. We're going to be reversing which side this floats on, but then we're also going to be reversing the items inside here. So on the same project that we added this project reverse on, we're going to come up and we are going to add to the project wrap, we're going to add another class, and it's going to be project wrap reverse. Now what we're going to do in our index.sass is, in line with our project wrap, we're going to select our project wrap reverse. Now in our project wrap, what we're going to do is we're just going to change this justify content from flex start to flex end. Justify content, flex end, and then if we come over here and refresh, now you'll see one's on the left and one's on the right. But now we still have to flip these items inside of here. So we're going to grab our project reverse that is inside of our project wrap reverse, and we are going to give that a flex direction of row reverse, and that's going to flip this around right here. Come back and refresh, and now you'll see this is flipped. And now what we're going to do is we are going to select the project text here, project text, and we are going to set the text alignment to the right, and we are going to set the margin right to 15 pixels, and we're going to set the margin left to 0. And so now it's going to just align all of this over to here when we refresh. There we go. Now that I think about this though, we don't need to have this class added. So let's just delete that for now. And down here, we can delete that extra class as well. Save it and make sure this just still works again. And the reason we don't need that is because we added the project wrap reverse class to its parent container, and because we're using specificity here, it's just going to override this class with whatever we put here. So this is pretty much done right now, but we still do need to add a couple things for responsiveness. I still think we can trim a couple words off here because it's still longer than what I have it designed for. Let's go for that. That's looking better. Okay, so what we're going to do in our index.sass, we're going to go on the same line as this project wrap reverse, and we're going to say at media screen and max width of 465 pixels, and we are going to grab the project wrap inside of there, and we're going to grab the project inside of that, and we're going to give it a flex direction of column and a minimum height of 199 pixels. Then we're going to grab our project text, and we are going to give that a margin of 6 pixels on the top and 0 on the right, bottom, and left. Then what we're going to do is we're going to come back to here and we're going to grab our project wrap reverse, and we are simply going to grab the project that is inside of that container, inside of that div, and we are going to say align items flex end. We are going to say flex direction column, and we are also going to set the minimum height of 189 pixels. So minimum height of 189 pixels. And the last thing we're going to add to this project wrap reverse is we're just going to copy this over and put that there. Now if we refresh this, this will look the same, and if we close it, it's going to change like that, which is how it's supposed to in the design, with the image sitting on top and the text underneath. So there's a couple things I want to do real quick before we finish this up. I have these two images here. And so what we're going to do is I'm going to comment out our first two projects. And that's one, and this is the end of this one, because I'm only going to add two projects in right now. So we're going to set this project title. Well, first let's go ahead, and we have this safe step floors and this starving artistry picture. So we're going to come over to our assets, images, and drop them in there. So I'm going to want the first one to be this safe step floors. So I'm just going to say in the title is going to be safe step floors, and over here in the second title we're going to say starving artistry. And to be able to add different images to each one of these, on the project image class we're going to go ahead and add another project image class, and then we're going to put at the end of this one, because this is technically the third project, I'm going to say project image 3, and on this one I'm going to say project image 4. So let's find, where's our project image? Right here. What we're going to do is we're going to set the background to size, cover, position, center, repeat, no repeat. And then we're going to grab our project image 3, and we are going to write the path to that image. So it's going to be, we're going to go back in directory to our image, and then let's see what we named it. The first one is going to be safe step floors recent project JPEG. Now let's see if this worked here. Alright, so we have this one right here, and we're just going to go ahead and add an image to the project image 4, and I am just going to change this to starving artistry. And now we should have a different image here. Alright, that's going to be it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs up anyways. Go ahead, subscribe. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. In the next video, we're going to start working on our footer, where we're going to use a sign up form from MailChimp, and we're going to style that to match our website. Until then, I will see you in the next one.